Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Making It Big Season 7. I am your host AB Ravi. This week's story should be of great interest to business historians. Let me put this into perspective. Typically, in family-run businesses, the first generation builds the business, the second generation makes it a success, and the third generation wrecks it. Again, going by the past record, the main reason for the downfall of most businesses is family feud. But this week's story is different. It is like a breath of fresh air. The Kolkata-originated RPG group has not only survived 6th generation, but has grown from strength to strength. This is because of the timely succession planning and amicable family split. In 1988, Harsh Goenka took over the reins of CEAT from his father R.P. Goenka. After building the company into a respectable brand, he has now handed over the baton to his only son, Anant. Anant, in turn, had reinvented CEAT by entering the two-wheeler and SUV tire segments. Result, CEAT has emerged as one of the largest tire manufacturers in the country. Take a look at CEAT's story and you'll know that the pedigree alone does not guarantee success. You need to supplement it by sweating out at the shop floor.
Being the obvious inheritor did not mean Anant Goenka got everything on a platter. He had to earn his spurs. That's what his father Harsh Goenka, chairman of the $3 billion RPG Enterprises, wanted. Anant, who had done his MBA from the Kellogg School of Management, had to go through the grind. For nearly 8 years, he worked at every department, including the shop floor at the group's flagship company, CEAT. This exposure, combined with strong academics, brought out the best in him, and it showed when he took over as the managing director of the 58-year-old company in 2011. Soon after that, Anant bet it big on the two-wheelers and SUV tire segment as he felt the company's traditional truck tire business was earning lesser margins due to intense competition. To ensure his new offerings met with success, Anant backed it with a strong emotional ad campaign. For two-wheeler tires, it was "The road is full of idiots."
The streets are filled with idiots.
And Dhoom 3. For SUVs, it was trust tires, not superstition. Questioning the age-old myth of tying Nimbu Mirchi. Both these ad campaigns struck the right chord with the desired target audience.
गाड़ी नींबू मिर्ची के भरोसे नहीं, CEAT टायर्स पे चलाइए. बड़े ट्रेड ब्लॉक, बेहतर ग्रिप, बड़ा कंट्रोल.
The result, the company's revenue share from two-wheeler tires moved from 10 to 12% market share in 2011 to around 30% in 2016. Likewise, its revenue share from SUV tires increased from 7 to 8% in 2011 to 14 to 15% in 2016. Parallelly, as planned, the company's revenue share from truck tires dipped to 38% in 2016 from 60% in 2011. Effectively, this rejig helped CEAT carve 15% overall market share in the country, and in the process it moved it to the 4th place after MRF, Apollo and JK Tyres. Today, CEAT produces 95,000 tires every day from its 5 plants located in Maharashtra and Gujarat. These tires, catering to all segments, incorporate both cross-ply and radial technologies. They are sold through a network of 4,500 plus dealers, over 400 CEAT franchises and 250 plus two-wheeler distributors. Besides catering to the domestic market, these tires are also exported to over 100 countries. Today, nearly 64% of its turnover comes from the replacement market and 24% from OEMs. Even though business acumen is a part of Anant's DNA, he was also lucky. His ascent coincided with the descent of rubber prices from 200 rupees per kg in 2011 to 100 rupees in 2014. and this reflected in the company's financials. Between 2012 and 2016, net sales increased from 4,653 crore rupees to 5,714 crore rupees, registering a CAGR of 4.20%. But net profit zoomed from 18 crore rupees to 445 crore rupees, recording a CAGR of 90%. The stock market mirrored this performance, with CEAT's share price shooting up from 70 rupees in December 2011 to 1,375 rupees in October 2016. So how did the company come into being? CEAT Tyres was set up in 1958 by Cavi Elettri Affini Torino SPA of Italy in collaboration with the Tata Group at Bhandup in Mumbai. The ownership changed hands in 1982 when takeover tycoon the late Rama Prasad Goenka acquired the company. This company was his first acquisition.
RPG Group, or as at that time we were known as the Duncan Group, we've always been close to the tire industry. We were making carbon black, we were making tire valves, we were making molds for tires. So it was back in the 1970s, I remember that we were talking to Michelin for a joint venture. And in around 1982, there was an opportunity of taking over CEAT Tyres. CEAT was a well-known brand name, had good equity, had a good product. And when this acquisition opportunity came, my father, Mr. R.P. Goenka, grabbed it. And this was really the start of his journey on a trail of acquisitions, which gave him the title of Takeover Tycoon.
After the entry of the Goenkas, the fortunes of the company changed for the better. In 2006-2007, the company entered the Sri Lanka market by forming a joint venture with Kelani Tyres PLC. Today, CEAT Kelani Holdings, which has 3 plants and a network of 450 dealers, dominates Sri Lanka's HCV and LCV segment, commanding over 50% market share. Besides, it is also a market leader in radial tyres, 2 and 3 wheelers and farm tyres in Sri Lanka. It has also entered the Bangladesh market in partnership with AK Khan and Company. However, the biggest turning point for the company was 2010-2011, when it bought out the global rights of the CEAT brand from Italian tyre major Pirelli for 55 crore rupees. During the same year, it also commissioned the Halol plant in Gujarat to manufacture 4 million tyres in phase 1 by investing 700 crore rupees. It also increased capacity by setting up a new plant at Nagpur in Maharashtra. Once the entire plant goes on stream, it will be CEAT's largest single location plant. With rising standards of living, it is tapping the rural market for two-wheeler tyres. Besides, the company has invested heavily in R&D, and that has made it possible to roll out a new breed of puncture-safe tyres for the two-wheeler market.
Basically, with CEAT, we have been associated since 2011, and we have been continuously increasing volumes with them and also applying their tyres on various brands where we have been doing both tube type tyres and tubeless type of tyres. And this journey of the last 5 years have been very good in terms of the good development as well as the capacity challenges which have been coming year on year. So the whole journey has been very good.
Today, CEAT has emerged as the 4th player in terms of turnover, market share and market cap. But Anant Goenka's strategy of foraying into new segments and connecting with new generation and new brand building ideas will ensure those rankings change for the better. With the Indian economy growing at 7% plus and the auto sector visibly reflecting those trends, it will indeed give a big boost to CEAT. On that note, it's time for a short break. When we come back, CNBC TV 18's AB Ravi talks to CEAT's Managing Director Anant Goenka to understand his vision for the company. Also joining us on the show will be Sandeep Uppal from HSBC. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. He sure-footed and measures every word he says. He knows exactly where he wants to go and how he wants to go. I caught up with 35-year-old Anant Goenka at RPG House in Mumbai to find out what made him bet big on two-wheelers and SUV tires. This is what he has to say. Take a look. Anant, Sandeep, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Anant, if I may begin by asking you, you inherited a very rich legacy. So the expectations were very high when you entered the scene. So did that weigh on you? And how did you handle those expectations?
Yes, I think there were no expectations explicitly, but I think at an implicit level, having my father and grandfather and family the way they are, I think there were certainly expectations that I had on myself. So to that extent, I think my desire to succeed and prove myself was certainly very high. And what helped me was really that I started off at lower level functions within the group.
Okay.
And I had about 9 years from 2003-04 until 2010-11 to develop my skills and capabilities to get a lot more confidence for taking on the higher role of becoming a managing director in 2011.
So I believe that you rejigged the strategy, revamped the strategy and went to focus or went to bet big time on two-wheelers. So what made you bet big time on two-wheelers?
With respect to when I joined in, I found that my predecessor had done an excellent job in terms of turning around the company, building our capabilities, and it was the right time for us to looking at differentiating ourselves as a company. So we were one amongst 3 or 4 large companies, but I'd say in terms of each element of distribution or branding, etc., we were quite similar in that sense. So how could we differentiate ourselves was a big question in our mind. And how can we aspire to be something which we are proud of 5-6 years hence? So these were the questions that came in. And then we said that, okay, internally we looked at what are the areas that would be growing fast, what are our areas of strength. And that's when we chose the two-wheeler segment as one area where we found would be growing very fast going forward. It was also an area of our inherent strength where margins were higher. And we also looked at, in addition to the two-wheeler side, we looked at the SUV segment, which we felt will be growing much faster in India. So looking at that, we said, let's look at winning in these two categories, which over time will clearly differentiate ourselves and will make us far more profitable going forward.
So I would ask you, what is the challenge of your business? Is it Chinese imports? Is it competition? Is it HR? Or is it marketing? Or is it rubber price?
I think it's all of it in some way. So these are all challenges or opportunities that you have to live with. One big challenge we are looking at overcoming is that of the raw material fluctuation. So when I joined in, a lot of the investors generally would say, I will take a bet on CEAT depending on what I feel rubber prices, what will happen to rubber prices. I think as we move towards becoming more and more known as a brand, we feel we will insulate ourselves from the big rubber price or raw material price changes that will be happening.
So you're getting into the branding play. Sometime back you had an ad campaign for the two-wheelers and the SUVs. So what kind of traction have you got from your ad campaign? And what kind of recall it is there? And are you unleashing a new ad campaign based on that now?
Yes, so on the two-wheeler side, we found that the biggest need of a customer is strong grip on the road. And that offers him higher safety. The environment which he operates in or drives his vehicle is extremely unsafe, and therefore safety was his biggest need. So safety is the big area that we want to identify our brand with. Over time, we are looking at taking this on to the SUV side, where safety and control play a very important role. And overall, if we are able to ladder up to higher emotional benefits, is where we want to go and appeal to the urban customer as well.
So you also been investing in your R&D. What are the products that has come out of your R&D that makes you very proud?
Yeah, I'd like to specifically emphasize one product which we launched in October of this year. This is our puncture-safe tire for motorcycle tires. This is a tire where you can have as many nails that go into the tire. There is no repair work needed. There is no puncture that will happen. You just pull out the nail and it works. You can continue to drive it. And that to me is the first in the industry. It's an exciting product. And I think most importantly, it will take away the fear from a two-wheeler guy traveling on a highway, having a fear that what if something goes wrong on the tire.
Anant, what sets CEAT apart from its competition like MRF, Apollo or JK?
Three things come to my mind. One is, I would say, is our distribution network. In the last 5 to 7 years, we've been really working towards increasing our reach to the customers, and I'd say our presence through our distribution network, the network itself is quite unique, and secondly, our reach is possibly amongst the best in the industry. The second differentiator in my mind is our brand. So we've been there for now 50 years in the industry, and I think the value that that has is irreplicable in a way. So I think that is something which is extremely strong. And third is, I would say, our people. I think we have a great group of people, very good culture, and what they've been able to do in the last 5 years, I think, is really a reflection of the quality of people we have.
Okay, let me get Sandeep. Sandeep, the company is very less leveraged. I think there's some 700 crore debts on the books. So if you were to do a SWOT analysis, what would be assessment of CEAT?
Okay, on a conventional SWOT analysis basis, starting with strength, I think one strength which always stands out for any corporate is vintage and brand.
Yeah.
So that CEAT benefits from for the time it's been in the Indian market. It's a household brand, very well known. So that definitely is the strength. The second strength is that it's not been complacent. It's kind of evolved itself as we've seen over the last 5-7 years. So that evolution is a massive strength for the company. As far as weakness is concerned, one weakness historical was the presence in the two-wheeler market, which now seems to have got addressed. The second is exports, which always is a good diversion from the local economy. That's kind of come off, so we would like a more well-articulated export strategy. On the other hand, opportunities are immense, and the reason for that is that if you see India with the rapid urbanization which is taking place and with developments of roads, clearly you have to have vehicles on these roads, so that market will keep growing tremendously. And the second part is, what is a weakness is also an opportunity, because the evolutions work well on the domestic market, and a well-articulated strategy can open up further exports. Threats, I think, are largely two in my mind, and both are well known. One is, as you said, from Chinese imports, and the way to get about is to ensure that you're insulated by going through brand and distribution, what they're developing. And second is dependence on what is a natural commodity, because of which you can have cyclicality of prices.
Today, when I look at your turnover, you're number 4th player. When I look at the market share, you're number 4th player. When I look at the market share, you're number 4. 5 years from now, where do you see these numbers, and what's your dream?
I would say that one is, I would like to clearly see our brand very well associated with safety. Okay. That, to me, if anyone were to think of a safe tire, safety in terms of their driving or journeys, whatever they're doing, I'd say if CEAT is something that can come to their mind amongst the top 1 or 2 brands, that would be great.
Okay.
As a result of that, I would say certainly we would look at substantially increasing our focus on the passenger side. So if we can be a top 1 or 2 player on the passenger side, that would make us certainly much more proud. We would also be looking at some growth outside of India. So if we can become a stronger player outside of India, just the way we've done in Sri Lanka, but also looking at other regions, other high-growing, larger countries, would be something that would make us proud.
And then, going by your own experience, last decade, what are the ingredients for success in business?
To me, I'd say 2 or 3 things come to mind. I'd say one is clearly having an ambitious goal which is set for yourself or for the company. It needs to be something which is really a dream, something which one feels is extremely difficult to achieve, but in my view, when one sets out, it's unbelievable how things work out. So that is one. Second is having a great team in place. So making sure the people who are there are people of the right capability, culture, etc. And third is, I would say, is driving the right culture of what the organization stands for. And to me, I'd say 1 or 2 key elements of culture is one where it fosters innovation, fosters an ability where you can try new things and not fear failure. And the second is really where results is an area of focus. So whatever one does, one needs to achieve its results in an effective manner.
So do you have a role model, or is there anybody, book or person who inspires you?
Yes, I'd say my grandfather is one who I certainly look up to. To me, I look up to him because of his humility, because of his personal touch, and the way he really interacted with people.
These days when you look at the youngsters, they want to make it big overnight. So what would be your message to them in terms of do's and don'ts?
Yeah, in my view, there's hardly anything like an overnight success. I'd say it really doesn't exist. I think maybe people look at some of the few success stories that are there of maybe the Flipkarts and Snapdeals or the Mark Zuckerbergs, and they feel that
that's why I was thinking,
we can graduate from college and suddenly become. I think this is maybe 1 out of 100,000 or a million people who stand out like that. I think in the end, success is largely achieved with a lot of hard work, a lot of time. Each of these people would have tried maybe 10 things and succeeded only on the 11th or 50th thing possibly. So I think what one sees versus what's really gone into the kind of effort and experience that they put in is that the pain that they go through is not really visible. And I don't believe in anything like an overnight success.
So there's no overnight success story.
Absolutely.
Very well put. Anant, thanks a lot for being on the show. Sandeep, thanks a lot for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Well, that was Anant talking about his strategy and goal with conviction. These are the mantras he implemented to grow CEAT. Set an ambitious goal and achieve it. A great team is the cornerstone for success. Culture should foster innovation. Put in place a framework where results are an area of focus. And finally, success cannot be achieved overnight. Well, those are practical mantras and it can be emulated. Before I go, here's an interesting observation made by Steve Jobs, and I quote him. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life. And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do, unquote. On that thinking note, it is time to say goodbye. See you next week with another interesting episode. Till then, keep watching CNBC TV 18.
Focus. Argue. Innovate. Enable.